So full disclosure, I'm a bit of an Apple fanboy. I've got my iPhone, I've got iPads, I've got MacBooks on MacBooks. One of my favorite books is Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, and that doesn't stop me from criticizing where I see fit of a company that I'm just a huge fan of. And Apple's doing something that I just never thought I would ever see. And they're partnering with third parties for their artificial intelligence. And I think AI is causing companies to do things they would have never thought of because they've got to be part of the rat race. It takes kind of a specific set of talented individuals in the areas of things like theoretical mathematics, PhDs and all these computational science areas that I guess Apple just never had the foresight to invest in. And I say that humbly because I don't know. I didn't see it coming either. And a lot of people didn't, except for, OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic, Meta even. And that's causing them to have to partner because they're so far behind the eight ball. And yes, they do have like their own models. This is their multimodal model, LLM trained model that to some extent has performed better than other multimodal models, but they don't have kind of like the ecosystem of LLMs and other generative AI models that they believe they need to improve the customer experience within artificial intelligence on all of their devices. So Meta, Perplexity, Anthropic, OpenAI, there's worry. Because the magic of Apple has been kind of this commitment to security, this closed ecosystem, being able, it's also the downfall for a lot of people, not being able to upgrade your device or use third-party hardware to improve the performance of your device. But it comes with things like security features, like here it says, in addition, security features powered by Apple Silicon, which I'm a huge fan of. A lot of people are that in the programming space, such as kernel integrity protection, pointer authentication codes, and fast permission restrictions help thwart common types of exploitation. Therefore, even if the attacker code somehow executes, the damage it can do is dramatically reduced. And they've even gone to the point of preventing the US government from getting into a device just because of data privacy and security is just vitally important. But now you're getting these third party, like there's a lot of worry about what OpenAI is, a lot of backlash about how they train their models, how they use your data. So now they're putting these questionable artificial intelligence models, not knowing how they're training their models, what data sets they're using on these what were very confidently secure and data private devices. And I think it's just because being so far behind in Apple's development of artificial intelligence is causing them to do things that just historically they haven't done. I mean, look, Tim Cook, talented individual. I mean, if you go to a Wikipedia page, everything is operational mindset. And if you are a publicly traded company, especially a massive one, putting someone at the helm with an operational mindset, maximizing, optimizing the dollar return for investors is a no-brainer. It's fantastic. Steve Jobs was not that kind of guy, but he was an innovator without question in the 2000s age of information, revolutionizing the handheld device. And I mean, that's what I personally use. I've tried other ones. They're fantastic, but Apple has just, Steve Jobs introduced something that was so creative. And kind of the backstory too, yeah, he's not the engineer, but someone brought him first iteration of the iPad. He wanted to reduce it into a form factor, marry it with kind of the functionality of an iPod, and boom, there you have it. Now you've got all these other devices that came about, touchscreen, buttons were gone. It just completely changed how we look at our day-to-day and our output, because, I mean, how much work do we do on our phones? Tons of innovation. Now, Tim Cook, on the other hand, has an operational mindset, seems to kind of leverage more of the derivative mindset. How can we take well-known things that are out on the market, like the iPhone, reduce its form factor, create it in an Apple Watch, develop own streaming services as far as like Netflix already being out there. And there's a lot of success. Apple is still a valuable company without a doubt. But that innovation mindset, being that kind of forward thinker that Steve Jobs was, I think has put them in the position now where they have to go. And it's odd to say, but like Mark Zuckerberg is more of an innovator in this space with Meta, having enough foresight and especially with his background in software development, probably has that more underlying understanding of where things are going, where investments need to be made. And now Apple has to reach out to these third parties and see if they can improve their consumer experience on their devices, because they'll feel left out if other companies are leveraging these and developing things that consumers wish they're going to have on their devices. But again, what comes with that as far as data privacy or security, protection, a lot of question marks. You hate to see it, I think, for Apple. The reason you buy Apple is unfortunately the closed ecosystem. The reason you don't buy Apple is the closed ecosystem. Now, even with the closed somewhat ecosystem and the issues that potentially these AI third parties could bring onto their platform, could be another reason not to buy Apple.